What's up, everybody? Welcome to Respect Our Authoritah Wisecrack South Park podcast.
Respect my Authoritah!
My name is Jared. I'm joined here by the Authoritarians. We got Jacob.
Hello, hello.
And Amanda.
Hey.
And Lux.
Yo.
And Ryan.
Howdy ho.
We've got a full house today because there's some things about this episode that we just are going to be geeking out about.
Brings the people together.
Brings our crew together. But today we're talking about South Park Season 23, Episode 4, Let Them Eat Goo. As always, let's get some first impressions. Let's start with... Actually, we keep forgetting to do this. Let's do the grading. I'm going to guess the grades. I'm going to guess Lux B+. I'm going to guess Ryan A. I'm going to guess Amanda A. And I'm going to guess Jacob A++.
Yeah, I don't know what goes beyond A++. So obviously you got me right.
Okay, yeah, so why don't you start?
I mean, for me, it's what is beyond A++? Just shoot for the fucking moon. This episode, I feel, was made for me. It's so funny. I got a text last night from Jared just saying, Daniel fucking Plainview is on the episode tonight.
Yeah. As soon as he walked on, he didn't even say anything. I just saw his costume and I paused it and I just texted you immediately.
Oh my God. So I love Paul Thomas Anderson, love There Will Be Blood, love Daniel Plainview. I drink your milkshake. I just thought that was brilliant. Then I thought, all of the enterprising, just the ruthless douchebags that you had in this episode are so good between Cartman and Randy and Daniel Plainview. It was just beautiful. And then veganism, it was just it was just perfect. I had a great time. So yes, A++++, whatever that.
You
means.
are a vegan, by the way.
I am a vegan. I mean, I'm vegan-ish. I'm vegan adjacent, but I do tend to eat a lot less meat. No meat, but a lot of goo.
A lot of goo.
Goo. And I had some Impossible goo last night, which was disgusting. It really was. When Randy's oh wow, this tastes like shit. That was this. I had this Impossible meatloaf last night, and it was fucking horrible. So the episode was so appropriate. I loved it. Yeah.
Awesome. Amanda, what about you?
I was more B territory.
Whoa.
I don't know. Maybe it's because as a former vegetarian, I feel the funniest thing about vegans and vegetarians is the smugness, and I was kind of surprised that they didn't even really address that aspect of it.
It was only from the corporate side.
Yeah, it was interesting, and I felt that was a little less. I don't know.
Yeah, it seems that because Wendy and all of her cohorts are not really depicted as super smug assholes.
No. Yeah, for
they're
sure.
pretty authentic.
Even with the Beyond Meat, last season, or 2 seasons ago. Remember with the Beyond Arby's? Even Wendy was always she's always been very sweet about it. She just wants to eat well.
Exactly.
Are
Yeah.
you thinking of Heidi?
Oh, sorry, Heidi.
Yeah.
Excuse me. Yeah.
Also, what happened to Heidi?
She's
she
gone.
just disappeared, and I missed that.
Yeah.
But anyway, just in general, I didn't laugh as much. Yeah.
I mean, nothing as strong as the squealy pig boy.
Yeah, for sure.
All right, Lux, what did you think?
Sorry, you see me?
Yeah.
Sorry, you cut out for a quick sec. I think, I'm more of an A-, honestly. I really like this episode. I thought it was almost a perfect quality, except that I thought the ending was kind of a week out of the bit, basically. I thought it was 19 really strong minutes and an ending that was just kind of and it's over. But I mostly really fucking loved it. I thought it was super funny. I actually thought I did have a little bit to say about the smugness in kind of a roundabout way that we can talk about later.
Cool.
And obviously the Daniel Plainview stuff and sort of the multi-layeredness of that reference with regards to Upton Sinclair shit, which we can also get into later, was really fucking cool and super duper smart. The first time I watched it, I was that's a weird pull. And then I thought about it a little bit, watched it again, and was oh, this is insanely brilliant, actually, in a lot of ways. And so, I was really impressed with this episode. I just kind of wish the ending had been less of a end scene.
Yeah, I want to talk about the ending because I wasn't expecting them to pull free speech back into it at the end, and I found that to be pretty curious. But let's end it off with Ryan. Ryan, what'd you think?
Yeah, Jared, you really fucked up my grade, dude.
Oh, really?
You only gave me an A. I want to be up in the A++ territory with Jacob.
Yeah, baby.
Yeah, because this episode really fired on all cylinders for
Yes.
me. I literally every scene I was cracking up. When they went back and gave him incredible shitty chicken and shitty walk.
Shitty walk. I was gonna say that was my. I literally could not stop.
I was
laughing.
crying laughing. That was so funny. And the whole Daniel Plainview thing was inspired. I mean, virtually every moment of this I thought it's exactly kind of what we were talking about last episode, where in terms of the mix off between pertinent topical things and then just universal topics. I feel like they mixed those two together really well in this episode. And yeah, to your point, Amanda, about the smugness, like I feel like we'll probably get into this, but I feel like they replaced your average like smug hipster who's a vegan just because it's cool with your very true believer, your Greta Thunbergs of the world who are like, we legitimately want to solve this crisis. So I think that they're kind of treating the Wendy kind of like her in the sense that they're actually they believe what they're preaching,
For sure.
which I think was cool because that's very topical too. Is kids saying like, stop the madness, we need to fucking actually do something that's working, and then what goes on from there. But yeah, I love this episode. It was hilarious.
Wendy's never really been depicted as smug or inauthentic. She's always had a lot of integrity.
Yeah, she's
Yeah,
got a lot of
for sure.
real integrity.
Yeah.
She's straight up Greta Thunberg in South Park land.
Yeah.
What did you think, Jared?
Oh, I loved it. I mean, as soon as I thought it was, as soon as Randy said that this tastes like shit in
Yeah.
the intonation
Yeah.
of him thinking of it sounding good.
Oh, wow,
This tastes like shit.
Fuck you.
Fuck you. Yeah, he did that
Especially
3
since
times.
whenever Alec is in town, he makes me take him to Del Taco so we can get the Impossible Meat shit. And when we were
everyone
doing
turned it-
Culture
yeah.
Binge, you guys made me try the Impossible Taco,
Or the
which
Beyond
it
Taco,
just-
and you were
Beyond
like,
Taco.
"Oh, this tastes like shit."
I didn't even say that. I just said it tastes like beans.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, as a staunch carnivore, I appreciated a
Yeah.
lot of things about this.
My favorite-
And I just always get off on South Park calling everybody out for being a bunch of self-interested.
Amen.
and,
Totally.
Just, yeah.
It was
I
so
love
good.
the ending.
Yeah, or lampooned everybody, but also I thought Randy when he gets like discovered to be a cow killer and he's like, "We didn't eat them."
yeah. It was also just nice to see cows again because cows
Yeah.
used to be a pretty essential thing
that's
about
true.
South Park. Even the first episode, all the cows were being fucked over by aliens. What was it? They were being turned inside out.
Yeah.
And of course,
and then that was like the elementary school mascot was the cows.
yeah, exactly.
I like that they kept the same animation drawing style for the cows too. Like
Yeah.
they kept the exact same aesthetic for the cows, even though a lot of other style things have changed. That was,
It
really
was
cool to see.
It was really cool and funny. I mean, what a funny like rampage scene. And then of course, yeah, it was great. And the
Yeah.
music was terrific around all
Yeah.
the PTA or all the Daniel Plainview stuff.
Yeah.
Like the violins going, and like the Johnny
Johnny
Greenwood
Greenwood,
style.
yeah,
Like,
the
wow.
Johnny Greenwood stings were really good.
Amazing.
Also the
Did Johnny Greenwood do the music?
probably
I
not,
did.
but I'm really glad that they went back to the China storyline for a little bit, and I thought that all that commentary at the beginning was hilarious too. They didn't just
Oh,
they
China's
didn't
not
just-
working.
Or just that they scaled up to appease China, and now that they're not doing that anymore, they're fucked. Is that
Yeah,
talking
yeah.
about-
Well, it was kind of a meta commentary at the beginning about, all right, we're not getting those China dollars anymore. We really gotta, we're fucked, and that's kind of like South Park's banned from China now, and it's, I don't know. I thought
Yeah.
it was funny.
Now
yeah,
what?
definitely keeping on the soft serialization. All right, guys, let's go into a recap. When Cartman discovers that Wendy and other students have been lobbying the school to emphasize sustainability and rid the cafeteria of meat products, Cartman has a heart attack. Meanwhile, Randy is trying to find a way to make more weed money. He stops at Burger King and discovers the plant-based Impossible Burger. It tastes like shit, but people will pay anyway because they care more about being sustainable. So he starts selling his own plant-based competitor, or plant-based competitor, Tegrity Burgers. It also tastes like shit, but at least it gets you high. After getting out of the hospital, Eric's only defense against claims to free speech and requesting a new lunch menu is to blackmail with the risk of having a heart attack if he doesn't get his lunch. But when Wendy preaches about their responsibility to eat less meat to curb climate change, Cartman has another heart attack.
Like even the summary is making me die laughing.
While While Cartman is at the hospital, the school makes a deal with Daniel Plainview, founder of Incredible Meat, and if I say he's a goo man, you'll agree. Cartman comes back, tastes the meat, and doesn't realize it's not real. Meanwhile, Daniel sells Incredible Meat to all the fast food joints in the area, but when he discovers that Tegrity Burger is stealing his business, he pays a farmer to put all his now superfluous cows on Randy's land, giving Randy no choice but to get high and kill them all. Butters confesses to Cartman that he's not eating meat, so Cartman goes to meet Daniel to learn more about the product. When he discovers it's not healthy, that it's actually just processed boxed garbage like the previous food, he apologizes and concedes to his classmates. Footage of the slaughter gets to the masses, and people protest Tegrity Burger, ending Randy's business. End of episode.
Wow, bravo.
Yeah.
Yeah. What a good
It's a good one.
episode.
The first thing I've written down that I actually was kind of the big question mark for me is the ending, the thing that Lux was talking about, how Cartman essentially says, we're all on the same page all the time. It's great to know that freedom of speech doesn't really matter. So, but we previously said that Wendy and her cohort are not being depicted as people who are just trying to make a buck like the Randys and Daniel Plainviews and all those people in the episode. So what do you think is really being said here?
I mean, as usual, right, Cartman sort of represents in a lot of these things like kind of a reactionary force. And one of my favorite things to talk about all the time is that like the way that reactionary forces in America and globally like kind of reappropriate free speech as like an opportunity to just be shitty and not actually like take responsibility for the things they say or think. And that's like what Cartman does throughout the episode, even at the end. And his ending line about like free speech not really mattering just speaks to this whole thing of like, look, no matter what you do, like everything's going to come down to, like, we live in an industrialized world, right? Like everything's going to just be like goo in a package, whether it's like meat-based goo or plant-based goo, just across the board. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think it's totally what you just said, but plus, specifically, it's a reference directly to LeBron James's press conference. If you guys saw
Right.
that, like he literally directly quotes LeBron James's entire thing about like, oh, yeah, freedom of speech is cool, but it can also have negative effects, like spiritually and economically, and he like said that, and I think that literally the end is kind of. Just putting a pinpoint on that, of just like LeBron James's point from earlier. Like, yeah, okay, at the end of the day, this is all about money, and your freedom of speech doesn't get all that matters is money. Is kind of
Yeah.
yeah.
Totally. Especially just putting a pin on, and especially in the context of like the China stuff, and with LeBron being like sort of like a formerly like social justice-y activist paragon guy coming around and being like, actually money is what matters more than any other stuff. Was a real bummer, life-wise, but like a really good thing for them to, like a real South Park thing for them to like stick a needle in.
Right.
Interesting.
You showed me the meeting.
I would have not caught that. That makes sense. Very cool.
Wasn't that scene where Cartman is coming into the cafeteria to try the Impossible Meat for the first time so good?
Yes.
Oh yeah,
Where
when they
everyone
just
was
kept the
like-
whole cafeteria on a knife's edge for like 2 minutes. That was so
And
good.
Cartman with his little robe with his ass showing.
Yeah. And the fact that he is completely confident wearing that getup.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
He's totally
has,
fine at school.
has the walker and then he has a
And the cane.
I mean, he honestly he ends up
What
in
a
like a
victim.
weird hospital gown with his ass hanging out pretty often. At this point, I feel like he's got to just kind of know how to wear it. You know what I mean?
If he's squealing. and
I also love the dynamic of just like a whole town, a whole cafeteria of people like on pins and needles, like worried about one person's reaction to something. I feel like I've been there before where,
yeah.
somebody's like always a complainer or something and everyone's like, oh shit, here we go again.
We're going to dinner. Are they going to like it?
Yeah.
I really liked the moment when Cartman was like, can I just eat my lunch and not hear about climate change? Because I felt like it was making fun of the fact that, like, do we really need, like, 11-year-olds to have the moral consciousness to tell us not to fucking destroy the planet? Which I thought was
Amen.
cute.
Oh man, that was a fun flip. That's funny because I almost had a flip read on that where like I thought Cartman was sort of making fun of the people who are like, yeah, we get it, free speech is important, you should protest the climate because it's a problem, but like, come on, like I don't want to hear about this right now. I'm trying to hang out.
Yeah,
Which is like,
or just people. I mean, even
being
going back to the
annoying.
Kaepernick thing, people just saying, "I don't want politics in my sports,"
Right.
Or
right, exactly. Just
I
all
don't
the
want
people who are
politics in my
like, we get
lunch.
this is
Yeah.
important, but not right now.
Right.
Which because they suck.
Yeah.
And I thought they did a really good job of. I thought it was a really funny roast on those people.
Yeah,
like
like a
this
buzzkill
episode
for
had so many
anything.
little things that were so appealing to me that I really enjoyed.
The other cool thing about that is that we recently released a video talking about how the first 3 episodes all cover this idea of conflicting freedoms, and this one also does that. In that Cartman is saying, or Wendy and her cohort are saying, we have the right to free speech, and then Cartman's, yes, you have the right to free speech, but at times there are ramifications when you're not thinking about how the negative it can do on others. They're trying to change a school lunch, but don't take into consideration how it hurts people emotionally, financially, and spiritually, which I didn't realize was a LeBron thing. But yeah, I mean, do you guys think this is something that Matt and Trey are consciously baking into each episode, the idea that we're always making appeals to freedom of speech, whether it's freedom of speech or freedom in other ways.
To impede on others' freedoms?
Yeah.
Yeah, not only do I think they're doing that, I think that that's a very topical thing, and not really presented in that way usually. You know, like the gun debate or something's perfect. It's like we have that debate all the time. It's like how many consequences are we willing to take for being that free, you know, to be able to buy whatever guns we want or something. Like that's a very South Park dynamic to have.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think that you're right about that.
Yeah, and I even think they're almost pushing against like sort of like questions of the definition of freedom, like the difference between being allowed to do something versus being able to do something.
Right.
Is a thing that they're like starting to push against a little bit, which I'd love to hear more about because I think that's very important. And it's interesting. It's really cool that they're like going. It has been persistent in like this episode more than any other. Like in our video, like we had to draw some lines like to get to sort of these arguments. And like they all made sense. They were all good arguments, but we had to sort of be like, this happens, and that means like X, Y happened, that means Z or whatever. But this episode, it was like literally verbatim in the show, right? Like Cartman's literally like, you're doing your rights and they infringe on my rights.
Exactly.
Right.
Like it was as explicit as it's been all season.
Well, and it's funny because it's like that's literally what LeBron James was saying in that thing.
Yeah.
He's like, yeah, you can tweet whatever, but if you do, it could it could affect other people. That's all I'm trying to say. And it's like, right, you're from the guy who like wears political protest T-shirts out to games and stuff. It was important to you before. It's not that important now.
Yeah. Oh, it's such a bummer. That Eric Garner protest he did was so moving, and now he's doing this shit. Oh, LeBron, you really let me
Fuck
down.
him, dude.
Yeah, big time these days.
Yeah. It's funny because there doesn't seem to be much of a divide on this. Everyone just hates what he did.
Yeah. I mean, he moved to Los Angeles and it changed him.
He made Space
as
Jam
it
2 and
often
it changed.
does.
Shallow town.
I love that. So we were talking about when Wendy is talking to the kids and saying, we're supposed to be the young generation. We're supposed to be mad at the world that our parents left us. And then the other girl says, yeah, but eating this food makes us just as bad. And that slow push on Cartman's face, reacting to them getting angrier and angrier is so funny.
His rage is just building. They did that a couple seasons ago. I can't remember what episode it was. Just pushing in on Cartman with that face is just like it says everything.
Yeah.
You just see him
it's so
like
good.
boiling.
I was
And I feel like
surprised. Oh, sorry.
No,
Oh,
go ahead.
for it.
I was surprised that they never really mentioned the fact that like our individual choices to like help the climate don't really matter because like 3 or 4 industries supply like 90% of pollution. So like the little things we do are like pretty minuscule. Like
I thought cow farts were a big part of it.
Really? I
Yeah,
don't know.
they say the cow farts, the methane's real bad, but then leave it to an enterprising entrepreneur like Daniel Plainview to be like, kill the cows. We need methane.
I also felt like in this episode there was more of an emphasis on this generational divide where it seems like there's that we see Wendy and all the young people speaking out about climate change and stuff like that. And then we see Randy and one of my favorite Randy and Daniel Plainview and all those people who really are just putting the nail in the coffin in terms of our future. I love the scene when Randy is just so high talking about how meat hurts people's health, it hurts animal rights, it hurts the environment, it leads to climate change. And after all this stuff that, he's so high reading it off a piece of paper, and then he says, now it just so happens.
Yeah.
And then
That was fucking perfect.
and then it cuts. So I love that even though he says to Towley that he's going to stop being a towel in the end of the last episode, he still has zero integrity.
Oh, yeah.
You are right, though, Amanda. Obviously, industry is the main force, but yeah, they're not really touching on that.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I mean, if South Park's to be a dork about it, if South Park's whole sort of position is like personal responsibility and integrity in the face of like social dynamics, like structural critique of things like industry kind of undercuts that position, right?
Well, I mean, but by criticizing Daniel Plainview, they're criticizing industry, in the sense that there is no regard for anyone's well-being or any regard for they're unscrupulous. They'll use even the idea of ethics and even the idea of integrity as a product.
Yeah,
Just like Randy did.
I just feel
but
like
it wasn't.
it could have been funny if they were like, also none of this matters because like
Yeah.
no matter how many fake burgers you eat, like you're not really helping.
Oh, well, according to the propaganda that I read, like all the vegan propaganda,
I'm helping a lot.
I'm helping
You're
a ton.
single-handedly changing the world.
Yes. But they, according to like the toxin reports or whatever these sort of analyses are, is like animals, meat eating, or like the demand for meat and the demand for animals, technically, I guess, produces the most methane and the most like pollutants on the planet.
And it just so
And it
happens.
just so happens that there's a company called Incredible Meat, Incredible Goo, that can solve that problem.
Do you
for
work for the goo, Jake? Is
I
that
work
what
for the
you're telling
goo.
us?
I'm a goo man.
You're a goo man.
I'm a goo man. But anyway, I think according to the propaganda, meat is a culprit in a way that in sense of the demand, right? Like there's a demand of whatever 9 billion people,
Right.
a portion of which consume meat, and a portion of which need to produce tons and tons of animals, and sustaining those animals to produce food is bad for the environment. And like,
Right, I mean-
the idea is like, yeah, if everyone went vegan, it would be a big reduction in pollutants, but same thing might go for if, say, all of China were to kind of, I don't know, follow some sort of EPA plan of some
they
kind.
do
Or if there was an EPA.
They do kind of make that critique in the shirt that says "tastes like shit, you won't care," because I guess the argument is that these people, they care more about being sustainable or evoking the image of someone who's progressive and helping out more than they actually care about the product or what they're eating.
Well, or wouldn't the flip side be like, it tastes like shit, and I don't care because I want to save the environment so bad I will eat shit? You know?
Well, that was the Prius argument. Remember, the Toyota Prius looked like shit. It
Well, they were
was
smelling
created
their own
to look
farts.
bad.
They don't smell
Yeah.
their own farts in this
Yeah,
one.
at all.
Oh, I just mean,
But
I mean, like,
in a
no, I
certain
mean
way
in the world.
they do.
Like, in,
This is a thing I really like. In a certain way they do smell their own farts, right? Because I think there's a lot of rhetoric that exists that I think they're referencing about how like people get high off a feeling of sort of being important or doing a good job or being part of the solution. And I think the Tegrity Burger getting everyone high is very much like an analog to that, right? Like
Yeah.
That is interesting.
you're,
I didn't
you're
think
eating the
about that.
Tegrity Burger and you're like, oh, I feel so good because
Yeah.
I'm not hurting the environment.
And the the marketing research for the
Good
Toyota
point.
Prius was they created an uglier car because more people would feel responsible. Like, hey, I'm making a sacrifice to drive something that looks like shit, but I don't care because I'm doing good by the environment.
Wow.
And that was
That's
the
so
marketing message. So there's a
interesting.
report on that on like Toyota's internal research to develop that ugly car. So like, I mean, it's the same thing. It's like it tastes like shit, but you're not going to care because it makes you feel good.
Yeah.
You feel redeemed.
So I like that point a lot, Lux. And I think that just goes to the interesting thing is that usually everyone is a hypocrite. Usually they're cynical towards everyone, but except Wendy seems to
Yeah.
be the really authentic one.
Yeah, she's like a benevolent soul.
Yeah.
Right, because what I mean, well, that's the thing is, right? The food Wendy wants is plant-based food that doesn't get you high. Like it's
And
just
that's
she wants
healthy.
to help, and she wants to help, and not like for the sake of feeling good about it, but because there's like an actual like ethical imperative.
Yeah, I guess
and-
I'm just surprised that they usually take the piss out of everyone,
Mm-hmm.
but they are not taking the piss out of the Greta Thunbergs of the world.
Yeah, well, I think I think they have some respect for like people trying to do a good thing,
Yeah.
especially when they do it in the kind of terms that South Park likes, which are like personal responsibility terms.
And if you think about what she has, they're serving fish, which is still animal, but
Serving
like it's just
fish.
healthy. It's just fish, but it's healthy. It's just like she just wants like a healthy alternative, and that's what really builds the rage in Cartman, the healthy.
Right. Well, that's the
Fuck
ultimate
you.
conclusion is when he's like, "Oh, it's just salt and slime, just like my hamburgers were." So like,
Perfect.
it's fine.
Yeah. Let's talk about the best part of maybe any South Park episode ever.
I love
Daniel
PC Principal
Plainview.
being like, "Here." Oh no, was it Mr. Mackey?
It was PC Principal.
It was like, we got someone to come talk to you guys. Man.
Yeah, so Lux, do you want to talk about? I actually as soon as you mentioned the jungle, and
Hey, wait,
I immediately
J-
made the
Jared.
connection. But why don't you go for it?
Jared,
Go for it. Yeah.
can you do this section in the Plainview voice, please?
Would you mind introducing us?
Yes, please.
Jacob is probably way better than it. So, Lux, would you like to talk about Upton Sinclair's jungle in the context of the episode?
Yes, please, Lux.
Yeah, sure. I try to do the voice, but I'm sick.
Share with us, Lux.
But yeah, so obviously, or it's not obviously, Upton Sinclair was a writer a long time ago, and he wrote a book called The Jungle about like about the food industry in Chicago that like radically changed sort of like food laws and labor laws and food production, stuff like that. Because basically it showed that like people were just dying or like bleeding in your hot dogs, and all sorts of nasty shit, and everyone was like gross. And he also wrote the book Oil, which is the basis for
There will be blood.
There will be blood. And so I thought it was super duper smart to bring in Daniel Plainview as the Goo Man, because it's a double reference, right? On one level, it's just the obvious, like, there will be blood, goo, haha, funny, oil and goo, great joke. But also that, in fact, when we're talking about things like food practices, food production, etc., like, we're always going to be, to some degree, talking about Upton Sinclair and the jungle, because that's what started the whole idea that, like, these things need to be looked at in a real way.
And food reporting, right, in that way, yeah.
Yeah, and so I thought that was like just so insanely smart that it was like this double layered Upton Sinclair reference that works. It's like sort of all the way down, and it works as a super fucking funny joke.
I have a question, Lux.
Yes.
Do you think Matt and Trey know about the jungle, Lux?
Oh, 100%. 1,000%.
Okay, thank you, Lux.
I think it's like a formative text for like, again, like if their thing is personal responsibility in businesses not being douchebags and like holding people accountable to things, like that's what the jungle is, right? That's some of like the all-time best investigative reporting in the history of investigative reporting.
Ooh, interesting.
That does me good.
And even if you didn't know about the jungle, I still think it works because the movie is all about ambition. And there's a similar thing where Daniel is always claiming to be a family man, but it's just a charade because it gets these folksy middle America people to sell their land to Daniel because they think he's a good Christian family man. And similarly here, his claims to sustainability are just a way to make money.
Another
charade. And so he's just another, he's a more condensed version of Randy's lack of integrity.
Yeah, and a more sophisticated one, like he's a better businessman.
Yeah,
but he's ruthless and cutthroat and just So and that's how I read it. But I think it makes a lot of sense with the jungle too. It's interesting to add that second layer to it. But I just looked
it's just
at
a really multivalent metaphor that I'm a big fan of.
It really works, and it was funny, which is very hard to pull off all of that at the same time.
It's super funny if you know the movie well, like I know we do, because they're lifting lines.
HW,
They're lifting lines from the movie.
No one would know the HW reference given to the movie.
Of course, like he's building a pipeline.
Yeah, a pipeline. That whole scene, and like it's gonna go straight to the ocean.
Yeah,
straight to the Pacific.
But I'll even double down and say it's funny if you haven't seen the movie, because much like how it's always funny to see Cartman squeal like a little nasty pig boy, it's also always funny to hear a man very seriously go, "I'm a goo man."
I can
like,
attest.
Even if you've never seen the movie, I feel like that would get you every time.
This is like an embarrassing confession. I have not seen the movie. I did not get the reference, and I laughed.
That's
like,
great to hear.
I actually really liked that.
That's great.
Yeah,
that's exactly what we needed to hear.
Yeah,
you should see it though. It's the best American movie since 9/11.
No,
it's so good. It is a masterpiece with a capital M.
It is amazing. Amazing.
Huge gap for me.
And the music, like they really captured the movie so well on a cartoon. Like it was.
They lift so much from that speech when Daniel is first pitching himself to the town. I don't think it's quite Little Boston yet, but that
scene. Yeah. Like,
well, the scene is also cut like that scene. It cuts to the oil as he's doing the narration. You know.
Oh,
just
I'm not
like
talking about
movie.
that scene.
I'm talking about the gymnasium, right?
Well, no, but what Ryan is saying is accurate too. But the one when he's in the gymnasium is when he's pitching himself to these people. It says like
Little Boston. Yeah, I'm a family man.
Right now, I've got an oil over at whatever, and it's got 3 barrels a day.
Shit, I need to watch that movie again.
Yeah, we still haven't done it for Show Me the Meaning.
I know. Yeah, I know. We did it for the pilot.
This also is a decent time to talk about. So, I mean, I'm saying it every episode this season, but like the little animation changes and the way they've been using the animation this season is just so fucking good. Like you mentioned earlier, the close up on Cartman, also like the way they did the contrast work in the Burger King where they have the HW scene, like all the cow shooting. This whole every single thing looked cool. They broke up all of the simple animations. Like this season just looks so fucking good. And it makes me very happy because sometimes one of my complaints with South Park is that it sucks to look at.
Did you see,
but not this season. This season, it is good for your eyes.
Yeah, and they're getting like the facial expressions, I guess, are so much better. Like it's so like I don't know if you caught Towley and Randy's faces when they're super high shooting the cows. Like their faces are just like
It's so funny.
They're so dead and their eyes are so shot. It's great.
I also laughed a lot at the scenes of the teacher eating the Impossible taco or the Impossible burger just so high. Her face is just stuffed
buried
in
down.
it. Yeah.
It's like a zombie.
Yeah. And I really like Lux's reading on the whole. The high thing is almost like them smelling their farts, because I was questioning if there was something I wasn't getting, simply because when Gerald tries it, he just gets high so quickly. I was like, I wonder if there's something else going on here. And I think Lux
I think he
nailed it. Yeah.
Sure.
I thought that was, again, this is the first time this season, at least, where on my second watch of the episode, it felt like the episode like opened up. You know what I mean? Like the first time I was like, this is pretty funny. I feel like there's more here. And then I watched it again and was like, whoa, this is a dense episode.
There is a lot for 22 minutes or whatever, man. There's a lot.
Yeah, I was really impressed.
Yeah.
And we haven't even talked about the cow massacre yet.
Oh, let's do that. What do you want to say?
It was fucking hilarious and very distressing.
Yeah, it was distressing.
I loved the music choice was so funny. It was just so fucked up. Like it was so
it
raw.
really was.
The cuts to them dancing really got me.
Yeah.
Like all like raw
They're
stuff.
so happy.
Yeah.
The one that fucked me up was Towley riding on the back of the cow and then shooting it in the head.
That was a great one. And he just
That was the
falls
one
down.
that really fucking got me. And that's what made me disappointed about the ending, is that moment was so like left fieldy, and then so much of the episode has been like people reacting to things in weird ways, and then everyone just gets mad at them for killing the cows. Like I kind of wish the ending had like pushed things a little further. That was the ending I didn't like. That just felt really like an and scene type ending.
Yeah.
Instead of like escalating or pivoting in a fun
Well,
way.
they turned into a factory farm, you know.
But they, at
Well,
least
sort
they
of.
didn't eat.
Yeah, in a way.
I didn't
bad
eat him. Randy looks like he just looks trapped and fucked. I mean, he's sort of like, he has nothing else to say.
Yeah.
He's like red-handed.
Fuck you.
Literally.
I just thought it would have been great if like the crowd had been like, you know what? Kill those cows. And it would have been like even more absurd about the anti-meat sort of stuff.
Or really, it would have been just funny if they're like, you should have done it more humanely, and then it's like them at the end, like killing the cows, but together, but like really nicely.
Like euthanizing
Like that
them.
that would have been
That's
great too.
actually funny,
Yeah,
yeah.
just like one
Yeah.
more beat there would have made that joke land for me in a way that the ending just like felt kind of flat.
I was thinking of Jared during the thing because I was like, how much is this
Affecting
animal
Jared.
animal
Animal
death?
killing.
I was
affecting Jared?
I was a little bit triggered,
funny.
but not terribly.
Not enough. Jared's like, that looks good. I want to eat a hamburger.
Okay, that's
Yeah.
good.
Yeah, because I was thinking, I was actually thinking the same thing. I was like, Jared must be kind of affected. Like, if those were dogs, that would be very, very bad.
Yeah.
For whatever reason, a cow is
Nah,
fine. Me as the vegetarian, I'm just like laughing my ass off because I'm like, I've seen John Wick and all these movies that are so violent. Like, just hundreds of people are dying, and I'm like watching the cows die in that way. But as a joke with that music with Randy and Tally, I was having a very good time. That was very funny.
Yeah. All right, I want to play a little game before we go to the mailbag.
Ooh.
If we are going with this idea of conflicting freedoms or any of the other ideas explored thus far, what are predictions for subjects of future episodes? Because I'd love to see if we can.
Have they covered the
Yes.
electric car yet, like Tesla? I think that could be like I don't know if that in like pedes on anyone else's freedoms, but that seems like it's like ripe territory. The same kind of douchebaggery of like it's good for the environment, but it's still like a lot of our electricity is caused by is created and generated by coal factories and that sort of thing. So I don't know.
I can
It's
see
been-
him going if this comes back up in the news again, which it probably will with the Supreme Court. But if if abortion comes back around, and then there's a big hot button abortion issue where where both people have to take a side. I don't know.
I
they've
was
probably done
literally
that,
just
too.
gonna say abortion, so that's funny. Actually, also speaking of the Supreme Court, with like the right to like the thing that they're debating right now about like the right to refuse like gay people in your business because
Right.
of
Oh,
religious
right.
beliefs.
Yeah.
Like, I wonder if they'll do something with like religion as an excuse to discriminate.
Yeah, that's in line.
That's
with
a really
that.
good one.
That's a really good one. I mean, my instinct immediately was video games. Maybe that's obvious for me to think of. But like all the stuff with like the ways like the Fortnite shutting down for a day and coming back up and like people losing all their stuff or whatever. And all the ways it's like video games have a right to like market themselves or like present themselves and do sales however they want, but it like fucks over people who play video games. Also like Blizzard and shit with China, all that. So it just feels like video games are a pretty ripe thing for them to get into in the same kind of way.
And they're obviously going to take on the election at some point, I bet, or all the Democratic
I don't think
candidates.
so.
Maybe tech giant stuff, like
Yeah.
breaking up companies
Yeah.
might
I
be a
can
good
see
one.
that.
Yeah,
Facebook.
fucking Facebook and their
For
$40 million
sure.
bullshit settlement.
Yeah,
I'm mad.
I would be
about it.
surprised if they didn't throw some shade at Silicon Valley
Yeah.
this season.
Yeah.
The other one I was thinking, and this is Silicon Valley-esque, is the streaming wars, the upcoming
Yeah.
just so many platforms coming out,
Right.
and everyone competing for your dollar, and there are so many choices, yet do we really want all of these streaming platforms? Don't we all just want one? Don't we all just want it to be back when it was just Netflix?
Yeah,
I
or
wonder,
just Channel
like,
10.
like
Yeah.
Terrence and Philip get taken off of like whatever, and they can't watch it anymore, kind of a thing. Yeah.
Or there's like the Terrence and Phillip extended universe that you can only see part of on,
Vudu,
on
whatever.
Canada
Like-
Plus or whatever.
I was about to say Canada Plus.
Yeah.
Wow, that's a
all
good
right, so
one.
I've got this written down. I've got Ryan, Supreme Court, Jacob, Tesla, Lux, video games. I'm putting myself down for streaming wars.
Put me down for
Tech
abortion, not just Supreme Court.
Oh yeah.
Okay, well, I was going to have Amanda for abortion. Amanda, do you want something
Are you
else?
gonna split the prize money?
I'm gonna, yeah, I'll split it with Ryan for sure.
thank
Abortion
you.
or religious people using their religion to be shitty.
Okay.
I think religious freedom is probably
That's
the
a very
clubhouse
good
leader.
guess.
That one feels like the best odds.
I think I'm going to win.
I mean, fair.
All right, guys, we're going to go into the mailbag. We got some voicemails. Let's start with one about weed burgers from Reed.
Yes, please.
Hey, authoritarians. This is Reed from California. Two quick things. So I just watched the Let Them Eat Goo episode, and I was a little intrigued that they didn't say anything about Carl's Jr. I know it may be a little bit late to the game, but back in April, I remember it was Colorado who actually made a CBD-infused burger. So I'm surprised that didn't come up as like a tag or anything towards Randy. And then the question that I had is, I was wondering, it was a super offhand comment, but when he came in and he said, this is HW, my new manager, and the guy said, oh, my name's Rick, and he said, oh, no, shut up, HW. I was curious just wanted you guys to talk about that, because I wasn't sure if that was a reference to H.W. Bush and how he loved junk food and hated broccoli, but I don't know how that would go along with the whole plant-based
Or, like,
thing,
or how they
or if
made
there's
oil
some other
money.
joke I'm not getting, but I would love to hear you guys' input on
HW is
that
the name of Daniel
on the
Plainview's
show
son.
when you guys record. Thanks.
Thanks, Reed. Yeah, that's the name of Daniel Plainview's son, H.W. Plainview.
That made me
This is
feel
my
old.
son and my partner, HW.
That was a crazy A to C on HW that I really loved.
Yeah, There Will Be Blood is the answer.
Yeah, I'm always wondering how many people have actually seen this movie, because to me,
That's such a specific reference, though. Like
it's just, if you're a film nerd, there was a good 3 years where you would go around and say,
yeah,
I'm a family man.
I'm a family man. You'd say, I drink your milkshake.
Yeah,
There's no drink.
I
your
drink
milkshake.
the blood of lamb from Bandy's track.
Yeah. So it's just you can.
I
I'm
really gotta go home
finished.
and see this like
But you gotta
tonight.
see it like
I'm
10
so
times.
embarrassed.
Yeah, you gotta see it like 10 times.
It's so good. Like, it's so good. It's one of those movies that last time I watched it, it was like a semi-religious experience to the point where, like, I don't want to watch it again, because
God forbid you ruin it.
want to compromise that memory of it being perfect.
Yeah.
I'm really not joking when I say it's the best American movie since 9/11.
Damn, that was that
Well,
year.
wait, what movie came out? What movie came out in 2001 around 9/11? That
I
marks
just mean
that,
like because there's like a kind of clear like break in like the cultural imaginary.
So it's
as,
like
an object.
yeah, it's the
that,
best
like,
post
there's,
9/11.
like, a sort of an era of Americanism that came after 9/11,
Mm.
and like that's the best product of that cultural imaginary is There Will Be Blood.
Man.
Well, Parasite's the best movie that came out since this summer.
I mean, look, I agree.
Okay, we got one now from Nick.
Hey, Wisecrack. It's Nick. I was wondering if in this night's episode of South Park, you noticed any similarities between the Goo Man and the man from a few seasons ago who sold the spas as the almost Dr. Seuss reference of a character. Thanks.
Has no one seen There Will Be Blood?
I guess not.
Yeah,
saying. I
all
think
these
it's-
calls are just like, can you explain the There Will Be Blood references?
I think that's the thing. Is like There Will Be Blood is just. It's not that big. I mean, it's a film movie. It's like an L.A. movie.
Yeah.
It's a movie that people in the film lovers love.
I thought
But
it
it's
was
not a big
firmly
movie.
in the zeitgeist. I thought that most people would know who that was.
It's a meme, but it's a meme. But I don't know if people actually. You have to. Again, we know every reference.
I guess you're right.
You know his boots. You know his hat. You know his beard. You know his voice.
Yeah. I mean, I guess maybe if it had won the Oscar over No Country for Old Men, which I always have mixed feelings about, because on the one hand, I think the Oscars are so fucking horrible at actually awarding good cinema that if you lose an Academy Award, it's like a badge of honor.
Yeah.
But
No Country is a great movie too.
But on the other hand, it's a great movie, but it's not There Will Be Blood.
Yeah.
On the other hand, if it would allow more people to see that movie, then obviously I'd be all for it.
That was a tough year.
It was a tough year. It was a great year for movies.
What else was up for the running? I'll look that up.
Wait, was that this? No, that was 2007.
That's 2000...
The nenext year was the one where The Dark Knight did not get nominated, and that was the last year I watched the Oscars, and I still have not watched it since then. Because any ceremony that wouldn't honor The Dark Knight is a joke to me.
Heath Ledger won the Oscar, dude.
Huh?
Heath Ledger won an Oscar posthumously.
I know, but that's just. And look, he deserves it. But I mean, if he didn't die, he wouldn't have gotten it, because all they care about is making a political charade out of it. But anyway,
it was Michael Clayton was the other, I guess.
Oh, that's a great movie. I love
That was
Michael
a good
Clayton.
But it ain't
Clayton's
There Will Be
good.
Blood.
Avatar was the next year, I think.
No, I think
that's
no.
a
That was a couple years later.
And Danny Day won, of course.
Of course. Okay. All right. Let's hear one. We got one from Eric.
Hey, Respect Planet Authority. This is Eric from San Diego, and South Park's been a big part of my life, basically forever, being a boy named Eric in 1990 that was not fat but big boned. 2 questions for you guys. I can't think of any other show in my lifetime that's had a general upward trend in quality, where every week I go, oh my goodness, this was so great. I can't wait for the next episode. Like, not even just comedies or animated comedies, but like in any type of show. And I'm wondering what you guys think of if South Park in the comedy or comedic world, how well they keep punching up. I feel like they never kind of just double down on a easy, joke without there being some, metatextual context or something else to take from it. Thank you guys, and I really appreciate all you guys do at Wisecrack.
Yeah,
I hope you guys respect your own authority.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Eric.
They're so smart. I mean, Trey and Matt, they seem so smart. They seem like they really understand the craft of comedy.
Yeah.
And like where to derive a good, lasting joke. Like, and they seem to be.
Yeah, but so
just
did the
pros.
people at like The Simpsons, and they're 30 years in, and no one wants to watch an episode of that now. But how the
That's
fuck
true.
do these
I
two
know.
guys turn out consistently such a high quality show? I completely agree with Eric.
No,
That
it's
there's
amazing.
it's unprecedented. It's in fact it's so unprecedented. Like I watched the first 2 or 3 seasons, and then I had a solid decade drop where I just didn't watch anything because I was like, oh yeah, South Park, whatever, that's an old show. And then it was like 10 years later, I'm like, I just catch a couple episodes. I'm like, dude, this is amazing, and it's only gotten better. And now I'd say, like season 20 was probably my favorite episode.
No,
it's
you're
19.
talking about season 19.
Okay,
Season
I'm
20
sorry,
was
19.
bad.
Yeah. 19 was probably my favorite season. The most perfect season. So yeah, there's no other show like that. Can you guys think of any?
No, I definitely, there are shows that like have a consistent upward trend. Like if you watch Community, like Community's first several seasons like get better.
It's 4 seasons though.
But no show has like as long a thing. And I think the key with South Park is that it kind of like reinvents itself. Not totally, but like they switch into like soft seriality. They kind of switch their targets up. They switch the style of comedy up, right? Like the first few seasons are all like aliens and like Kyle turns into a wizard, or like there's a meteor shower problem and Moses is there. And then it becomes like much more political or topical, and now it's sort of topical in sort of a vaguer way that like digs in more into like individuals. Like they continually change and remodel the show in a way that keeps it feeling fresh and interesting, and never feels like they're just doubling down the way that The Simpsons do.
But yeah,
It's also
I
like
think
the characters.
that's like why it's still good.
The characters are such good engines. Like I was thinking about that this episode, how just like Cartman and Randy just like drive the entire thing, like drive all the off the wall comedy through like genuine character traits.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like every literary theorist needs to write a book about Cartman, because he's more than just the trickster archetype. He really is something unique.
Yeah,
I think
we got to do a video on him.
Yeah, I agree. A couple things. One, I'll say that more to what I said to Ryan. I think that generally, the show does have an upward trend. There have been some missteps. Like season 20 was a big misstep when they tried to follow the election. And then even the next season, season 21, when they tried to comment on Trump, was kind of hit or miss. But overall, and I think I recently just rewatched 6 Days to Air, the documentary about the making of South Park. And Trey says it best. He says that we've really built this unique cultural position in which we can say the most offensive thing in the world and people will say, oh, that's just South Park. And that's a very unique thing to them. It's a very unique privilege. And I think that even if Matt and Trey don't want to do South Park anymore, if they're just exhausted, if they don't like it anymore, at least, and I'm just pulling this out of my ass, but my heart tells me that they feel like that because they have this unique privilege, they have a responsibility because they're the only ones that are going to call out China.
That's it. Yeah, not even Larry David, not even Curb would really go there.
I mean, I'd say that they do it in everything that they do. Like they fucking won a Tony Award for God's sake for a completely non-South Park related thing. I mean, they just have the right vibe to tackle anything. Where it's like they can be so hard hitting and really tell be so offensive, but at the same time really be like, all right, they have a heart to them that is like, all right, they're good natured, they're good people. But yeah, they're going to tell you like it is, and they also happen to be hilarious. So it's great.
Yeah. That's what I've liked a lot about the later seasons is that like a lot of stuff has like Ryan said, like has like a heart and is coming from like a good place and doesn't feel like just like shitting on people to shit on people, which is what they feel like at their weakest. And they've like really stayed away from that and made it into like a much more like cutting satirical thing that is just so fucking impressive.
Yeah. All right. Let's do one more from Luis.
Saludos, Authoritarians. Luis Cajiga from Puerto Rico here.
Hello.
First, I want to say that I can't get enough of your content. It is the best. Also, Ryan, you are killing it in Funhouse. Can't stop laughing at your appearances, and your editing is on par with the best.
Yeah.
And Lux, thanks for giving me a new podcast to binge at work. It is amazing.
Right on.
Anyway, just wanted to talk about the Randy $300,000 parade. I wanted to hear your guys' opinion on what Matt and Trey are commenting with it. I think they're juxtaposing the way that companies front their deals with China. However, it seems interesting that Randy is doing this while at the same time exposing himself with a police escort in front and behind, so they are absolutely watching him expose himself to the audience. Also, there is a person behind the parade that is picking up what seems to be excrement coming from the parade itself. So, I don't know. Don't have
There's no
anything
horses,
more,
just a lot
much
of
more
shit.
to say, but just wanted to hear your guys' opinion on the matter. And P.S., I am about to hear the Joker podcast with my wife, and she asked me to give her as much philosophy on the matter as possible. She is just fascinated with the movie. So now, anything, thanks for your great work, and keep up doing it. Bye-bye.
Thanks, man. Great voice.
Thank
Wow,
you,
I
Luis.
totally
Yeah.
missed the shit after the parade part.
Yeah.
That's fun.
I do like the idea of the police escort being okay with Randy exposing himself because, again, all they care about is money.
Yeah,
as
they got
long as
paid
it's
to be
making
there.
money, it's right.
And protecting the citizens, Jared. You know.
Oh, well, just in terms of
Public
as long as
exposure?
you make money,
Oh,
you
yeah.
can break the law and expose yourself in
Oh,
public.
right.
Right.
Yes, of course.
And I like the shit thing in the sense of like, it's kind of, it almost reminds me of like Disneyland where like they have the dudes in the tunnels who sneak around and pick up all the garbage so there's never any trash on the ground. Like this like money making process is like dirty and nasty, but like they do their best to hide all of the like shitty ramifications.
Yeah.
For sure.
I think that's very clever. I didn't notice that in the episode, but I like that a lot as an idea.
And he mentioned that like the $300,000 parade like was maybe a 1-to-1 on people flaunting their deals with China. Did you guys get that?
That's what he said.
I mean, I totally can see that.
I looked at it as a
I don't
not so humble brag.
I mean, but that is what the flaunting is, right? Like I mean, the NBA, even like this year, like before preseason started, was like, we're touring teams in China. They're going to be playing all over the place, playing Chinese teams because we're best friends and look at the Chinese market. And now, like a month later, like here we are.
Okay, yeah. I guess
Cool.
somehow my brain, when I watched that scene of the parade, I was just taking it as like, it's kind of normal for a show to celebrate their 500th episode, or and this was the 300th episode. So I just figured it was like, all right, this is their celebration, but then it's, they're also using it as a metaphor in the show kind of thing.
Yeah. I think and they've been really good about that lately, man. It's crazy.
Yeah. All right, let's go. So if you guys want to send us a voicemail, 213-534-8807. Let's do a couple emails. We're going a little bit long, but do you have anything for us, Lux?
I got 3 of them.
All right.
Here we go. This one's from Alex, who says, "Hey guys, Alex from Vegas again. I love listening to you all talk about South Park since it's my favorite show on television. Having said that, I think this season is super weird so far. For all 4 episodes, there hasn't been a clear end to the story of the episode. In episode 1, we're just left at the detention center, nothing really wrapped up. Same with episodes 2 and 3. And tonight's episode, where we don't really know what's going on with the Goo Man, or what his plan is now that Tegrity Burger is done for. And the argument at the cafeteria food is back to square one. Do you guys think these kinds of plot threads are just going to be left loose, or could we possibly see some kind of weird half serialization, have these tied up later in the season, or in the finale? Keep up the awesome work, and I can't wait for next week's episode."
I will say that it definitely. I mean, they're clearly going with soft serialization again. I love this episode, but I will say I am a little tired of it, to be honest. Like I kind of miss the days of the one-offs.
It's still pretty one-off. I mean, it's certainly not as bad as season 20. Mm-hmm. And there is still a new topic every time. The only thing that's really consistent is Tegrity Farms and Randy and the new intro. But they still will hint at things. So in episode 2, we see Kyle and Cartman come back from the detention center. It's pretty. I'd say it's pretty soft.
It's still kind of hard for me.
Is it? Yeah. But mostly the biggest thing is Tegrity Farms. But I think it's actually so far it's really clever how they've managed to wrangle that into a lot of contemporary issues.
Yeah, I mean, it kind of reminds me of, like, this is some nerd shit, but, like, it kind of reminds me of playing, like, Dungeons & Dragons or something, where you have a story and the story ends, and the ramifications of that story, like, keep playing out in the world as you keep playing the game. So, like, each episode, like, leaves a couple things undone, and those things keep playing out across the world as, like, the next episode starts. Like, Kyle and Cartman in the concentration camp, or, like, the business with China trickling over in episode 3, et cetera, et cetera. And I think that's kind of fun. I'm with Jared. I think that they've been doing a really cool, fun job this season with that stuff.
Yeah.
All right. Next, we've got Brett.
I probably got. Hey, Lex. Sorry. I probably got time for like maybe one more email, just so you know.
Okay.
Yeah. Let's just keep.
Do you guys want one about China or one about the future of Tegrity?
China.
Okay. Done and done. This one's from Dom. Sorry, Brett. Hey, Wisecrack. Huge fan of the show and all Wisecrack input. He says input. I assume he means output, really. And wanted to prod this issue a bit. In the last couple episodes, you all mentioned that South Park is one of the first outlets to criticize China for their authoritarian media attitude and human rights issues, but this feels a bit inaccurate. For example, you all had the video about comedy being dead in the box office because of a Chinese influence. Disney's been getting flack for changing movies to them as well. Also, gamers have been mad at Epic, the Fortnite devs, for their collaboration with Chinese companies to the point that people don't want to use their game launcher. On the other hand, when Randy told people they were racist for criticizing China, that was interesting. I do think people are angry about real transgressions, but also will get mad about less legitimate actions. One has to think about the conspiracy that climate change was invented by the Chinese, and comments like that, which might clog up discussion. Why pick China? It's like how people want the NBA and Blizzard to protect their players' free speech, but would still call for NFL players to be banned for kneeling, or players/gamers having political opinions that were social justice tinged. Sorry for the long, incoherent email, but just wanted to think on those criticisms a little further. Dom from Pittsburgh.
Well, he didn't mention any other media that's really been criticizing. I mean, sure, individuals on the internet have been speaking out against China, but for a show that makes millions and millions of dollars and is owned by a huge conglomerate to do it, I think is pretty unique.
Yeah, like SNL is not about to make a sketch about Disney changing movies for the Chinese market.
No, actually, in 6 Days to Air, there's a scene where Bill Hader is like, on SNL, it's always like, oh, we don't want to make fun of that person, because we want them to come host. Or he's like, here in South Park, it's just fuck everybody all the time.
Then they say we have no friends.
Yeah.
I think there's a difference in tone in the criticism too. Like even our comedy video wasn't like China has a bad human rights history and does bad things, so we shouldn't do this. It's that like catering to China has damaged our ability to like go laugh at funny movies. As opposed to now there's like an actual like ethical argument being made about like the implications of like Chinese influence on media and stuff like that.
For sure.
And I think that South Park was kind of the first, like you said, like big thing to bring that to the forefront. I think that's important. And the racism shit, I mean, I think that like, people get mad about things for all kinds of dumb reasons, but there are super legitimate reasons to be mad about this particular thing.
All right.
All right. But yeah, I mean, I think that deal was pretty good. I mean, what do you guys think about this stuff about like, the like lack of clarity in the China discussion, the way that people like add a bunch of outside things to it, or is that just a thing that doesn't really matter as far as South Park goes because they're like pretty direct?
I mean, like, people do that for every argument. It's like, you know, like, oh, there's a succinct thing that we're all talking about, but then you add on this other thing, and then it's like, wait a minute, hold on, I'm not talking about that too. It's like, yeah, that happens for this. And then, I remember what I was going to say is that, you know, he made a point about, like, is it the first entity or media outlet to criticize China? Probably not, but it's like definitely, like you guys were saying, the most high profile that I can think of in the last 2 weeks. It's almost like, to me, the silence is deafening on this thing about, you know, why wouldn't you speak out? If you speak out on every other issue, why wouldn't you speak out on this? Which, but so I think that there's a point to that they're making.
Yeah.
I mean, especially that PC Babies line that I keep coming back to.
Right.
The line about the PC Babies aren't even whining about this. I just think it's so fucking damning.
For sure.
And I love it.
Yeah, and to Lux's point, people do have previously talked about appealing to China just in a sense of, hey, there's economic opportunity there, so that's why we're appealing to them. But as he said, never the kind of social, political ramifications that come with that, which only South Park, in my mind, has been
brutally
willing
honest
to address.
about.
Yeah.
Sure.
All right, where can we find you guys on the internet, Ryan?
Every week, I release comedy shorts on Ryan Shorts. I just released one with my two nieces. I gave them frozen powers. And you can watch that on Ryan Shorts. And you can find me on the Funhouse channel every once in a while.
Are they stoked about Frozen 2?
Dude, they're so stoked. It's crazy. And I'm going to bring them some Frozen 2 swag when I go back for Thanksgiving. I'm psyched.
Woo. Swag. You mean swag?
Whatever.
Some Frozen 2 garbage.
I'm sure they have some Frozen 2 swag at the local dispensary. All right.
Swag.
Lux.
Yeah, you can find me on the Game Boys podcast, and you can also find my shit with Party World Wrestling, which you should check out on twitch.tv/partyworldwrestling on Friday of this week, because we're doing a show in Houston with Kath Barbadoro and the dudes from Street Fight Radio, which is going to be real fucking cool.
Hell yeah.
I think I think the wrestling starts like, I guess, 7 p.m. Pacific time on twitch.tv/partyworldwrestling. So check that out. And I'm also on Twitter at MLSurfboard.
And can you spell wrestling so people know where to go?
RASSLIN.
There we go.
Wrestling.
Amanda.
Yeah, you can read my articles on our Medium page or watch our videos.
And Jacob.
Yeah. Anything Wisecrack at
Yeah.
Wisecrack.
Yeah. All right, guys. We'll be back next week with episode 5. Until then.
Screw you guys. I'm going home.
We're finished.
Bye.
Later, y'all.
Deuces.